it tells you is that you have leaves or no leaves. It doesn't tell you what's going on here. Go ahead. That's too wet. You're seeing a lot of condensation on there, it's too wet. But what you want to look for is that this stuff is not all matted down together solid. You want to be able to see airspace in there. If you get perlite, sometimes it's got a lot of fines in it. You might have to sift those out so that you get to the coarser pieces. Go ahead. In time, you're going to take it back out of here. That's what it's going to look like. Go ahead. That's the same cutting. Look at the top of that. Not a sign of life on the top yet. They got lots of nice roots down here. This is ready to go into a 1-gallon can with some potting soil with a lot of perlite in it so that you still keep good drainage. Because the roots are not any different just because you took them out of this pot and put them in a bigger pot. Nice leaves. Not much root. So there wasn't much point in taking this one out of here yet because it wasn't ready. But if this is solid, you can't tell what's going on. That's why you want to have a clear container to do your rooting. Go ahead. Next one. Same thing. Lots of leaves and growth, no roots. They're just all a little different. Go ahead. Look at the roots on this one. Just in a not even a 1-gallon pot, just a cup this size. Go ahead. See the roots in here? I know exactly how many roots I have there because I can see them. If I can't see them, they're either really, really short yet or they're not there at all. Go ahead. Take that out, it looks like that. That's ready to go in a 1-gallon can. It's ready to take off and be a nice tree. Go ahead. The roots in that one. Wow. Sometimes they'll grow up and out of the cup. You get that many roots.
Do you want to let it go that long?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It could sit like that probably for a couple of months. It's not critical. The only thing you get in trouble with is if you do it too soon and you don't have any roots. Then you've really kind of wasted all the time that you've gone through. This is a nice light mixture, mostly perlite or all perlite, or all vermiculite. I'm not saying you should do all vermiculite. You can if it's really coarse and you're very careful with the moisture. But the point is, when we see the next picture, it'll come right out of the cup. Real easy.
Question on when you first put the cutting in with the perlite, how much water or moisture did you add?
You can water it.
How much?
I can fill it up.
Fill it up.
It's got holes in the bottom. It's going to drain out.
Okay. Oh, you got holes in the bottom of the cup.
Yeah, you got to always have a hole in the bottom.
Okay.
You can't ever have it sitting in the water. That's why we put the screen in the bottom of the greenhouse so that when the water drains through here, it's in the bottom, not touching the bottom of the cup.
John, is there a minimum root size when you take it out of the original bag and there's paper around it? You think about starting it?
No. I mean, if they're a 1/4 inch long and there's a lot of them, that's fine. What you're looking for is that it's actively making roots. If they're longer than that, that's fine too. Sometimes it'll put out 3 or 4 long ones. Sometimes it'll put out 50 little short ones. But at least you're in control. You know what it's doing. You can see that you have root initiation started and you've got a sufficient amount of roots coming on. Then you can put it in here and keep track of it. If it doesn't want to root at that stage, then you may just end up not worrying about the cutting later on. You save the time in the cup, save the time of repotting it, the potting soil, and all that kind of stuff. But with this one was done with a mix of vermiculite and perlite. Again, the vermiculite holds a lot of water, so you got to be very, very careful if you go that route. But either one of those come right out of the cup real easy. Just turn it over, hold on to the twig, and shake it, and it'll come out. Go ahead. Keep going.
I have a question.
That's what you look. That's what you got. Nice roots on this end. This one happens to have leaves on the other end. This one happens to be one that rooted in about 2 weeks. This thing just wanted to grow. Had like 5 pieces of this from a guy back east, and they just all exploded.
Thank you.
Once you put them in cups, do you try and get them into light, or does it not really matter?
Doesn't matter. You do not want them in direct sunlight. If they don't have any leaves on, they can't really use the sunlight anyway, but you can burn them. If you don't want to put it in the sun, you can stick them in the oven and heat them up that way and burn them that way, but same thing. See all the roots on the bottom of that? Okay, go ahead. We end up with this. Now, I've been experimenting. Actually, we got a few more pictures here. This is our greenhouse. We got the door open. I want fresh air in. I also want the humidity to stay in. If I keep the prop open a little bit, you can interlace this. If you get the ones with the interlock tops on them, you can interlace them so that the thing will stay open like that. I close it for a day, open it for a day, close it for a day. It depends on how dry your environment is. You got moisture in the bottom. It's providing you humidity. You're getting fresh air in, but not a whole lot of fresh air and not a lot of air movement to dry it out too fast. I already went through this about blowing the bag up. And you can put probably 20 or 25 cuttings in a bag. It's not, you can put 2 or 3 in a bag. It doesn't matter. That's optional. Go ahead. Okay. Now, you can just forget everything I told you.
Just throw in the trap.
That's a bag of about 300 black mission cuttings. That's sitting outside. It went from 38 to 80 and back and forth, winter and spring. It's in a plastic trash bag. It's got no moisture inside. It's sitting in a bucket, got full of rainwater. The holes in the bag let the water in with the cuttings. I drained them out, put it back, yada, yada, yada. Go ahead. Black trash bag. Keep going. These are already starting to root.
How long were they in the bag?
3 months.
3 months.
Something like that. Maybe 4, I don't know. I don't know when I took the picture. But the point is, it's not, you've got to be careful, but it's not like it's a recipe. If you got a quarter cup of something too much, the whole thing is toast. These are just rooting in the bag by themselves. Go ahead. It's got probably close to an inch of roots on it, just sitting in a bag in my front yard. Not in the sun, but just hanging out there in the elements. The temperature wasn't a big issue. Controlling humidity wasn't all that big a function.
Any newspaper in there or anything?
No. No. Like I say, it got soaked, it got drowned once, it got dried out, back and forth. So, go ahead. Figs. Oh, those are all the same fig, by the way. Green one, red one, blue one, all off the same tree. And it's not grafted. One tree. Go ahead. Next one. Okay, we'll go back to our grafting. This was our piece of scion that we're going to graft on. This was, this happened to be a piece of mango wood, but it doesn't really matter. You're more likely to be working with apples or peaches or pears or something. Cut your wood off at a diagonal like this. Cut your your rootstock to match that. Go ahead. Then you're going to put another notch in it like that. It's going to give you that extra tongue that's going to lock them together. One more. And you can see where how those are interlaced with each other. Wrap that up and it'll stay there for you. Get it cinched up nice and tight. You want to get your surfaces all very smooth and even so that you get as tight a seal on them as you can. And it's most important, not in the middle of the twig, not here, but the edge, where the bark is. Underneath the bark is the cambium layer. If you scratch the bark off, you'll see green stuff under there, nice light green. That layer, that point is where you need to make your match. Doesn't matter if this one's got 1/2 inch thick bark and this one has 1/16 inch bark, as long as those 2 green layers match, that's the important part because that's where it's going to heal together. Just like if you put your skin together. Doesn't matter how thick the bark is, that's not what you're trying to match. You're trying to match that green inner layer just underneath the bark. You get that work and lock it together, it'll work really good for you. I think that's it. We can do questions or we can go collect
Have
twigs.
you tried anything with rock wool as a medium?
No, I haven't. Doing this in a bag, I learned from a fellow he's in the Ventura chapter. He might be in Santa Barbara. His name is Richard Watts. He's been doing this for about 60, 70 years. So, if you're in the South, in Louisiana, you just take the thing out and stick it in a bucket of dirt,